Welcome. My name is Shiva. Today we'll be talking about the existing data warehouse enterprise data acquisition process and how Big Data Hadoop is going to support and extends the existing enterprise data warehouse architecture. As you could see in this picture, in the current data warehouse process, the data moves from operational systems and it basically goes through some kind of a ETL process where we extract, transform, and load the data into the data warehouse. Based on the need to minimize the dependency on the operational system, we will use some kind of intermediate storage locations between sources and ETL tool, as well as ETL tool and the enterprise data warehouse. These intermediate storage locations are called data staging areas. These are optional. Some companies, they use just the data staging area one. Some companies, they use both, depending on the need. As part of this process, you will be generating metadata, which is information which provides additional information on the existing data, which should be very vital for the business users, which would minimize all the assumptions. So it's going to streamline the process. So all the business users, when they get a report, they basically look at the same kind of a reference document, and that information, we call it as a metadata. We generate that data as part of the ETL process as well as a BI tool process, and we generate at various points. And in the same way, we generate the surrogate keys. So this is the data acquisition process at a very, very high level, almost 10,000 foot above. And when you load the data into the enterprise data warehouse, then the next step would be basically using some kind of a reporting tools for analysis as well as for reporting, and also doing some kind of a mining. This is at a very high level how you acquire the data into the data warehouse through this ETL process and use some kind of a reporting tools for the reporting, analysis, or some kind of a mining purposes. This process has been happening for the past couple of decades. Now, in the industry, there is a need to process large amounts of data because of various reasons. Right now, all these companies, they are getting lot of information from various sources, whether it could be social media, machine-generated data, or geopositioning data, whatever the source it may be. All these companies now, they are getting huge amounts of data from various sources. And now they need a new data processing platform to support the huge volume of data that is getting generated. In addition, there is a wide variety of data is being generated as well. Earlier, we used to have the data in a proper defined format. Now, we have data from in a free form of text. That's what people call it as a variety. So if I could integrate Hadoop architecture as part of the existing enterprise data warehouse architecture, just watch it carefully. In the current scenario, what we have been doing is we are using our traditional sources, and we will pass through our enterprise data warehouse through the regular process through ETL tool, and then at the end of it, we retrieve the data using some kind of analytical reporting tools. This is the standard process that we have been following for a long time. Now, as you could see in this Hortonworks picture, a lot of variety of data is being generated at the bottom, whether it could be regular transactional systems or ERP systems. It could be click streams, all those weblog information, whether it could be Facebook, Twitter, social networking sites information, geolocation data, sensor data, whatever it is. One word which could describe all these things is now we are getting different varieties of data, and volume is also being generated very, very high, and we have a very limited time to process all that information. So existing traditional data processing platforms, they are unable to handle that. As a result, there is a new data processing platform which is going to help us to solve that issue, and that platform is nothing but Hadoop. If you could look at it at a very high level in an architectural view, if you combine this existing enterprise data warehouse architecture with Hadoop architecture, the traditional sources you can pass through data warehouse, and all these other sources, the new sources of data, you can pass it through Hadoop. And then you can use Hadoop for processing all that information, and in between you can coordinate with enterprise data warehouse. There are various ways you can do that, and at the end, this information then you can give it to, you can work with other big data applications or other BI reporting tools like Tableau, ClickView, SAP Business Objects, various other ways you can provide the data. So this pictorial representation will tell you exactly how Hadoop is supporting the existing enterprise data warehouse. It is not replacing the enterprise data warehouse, it's supporting and extending it. So you can call that as a augmented data warehouse. Enterprise Hadoop components, whether it could be Cloudera, whether it could be Hortonworks. The one which you are currently seeing is the Hortonworks representation. But no matter what component you use, what distribution you follow, Hadoop basically has two major components. One is the storage location, which is called a file system, Hadoop file system, as you are storing it at distributed locations, distributed servers, distributed nodes. It is defined as Hadoop distributed file system. In a simple words, that can be called as a storage component. So this storage component is being, and we need to process the data that is being stored on the at this location. One way to process it is by using, in a batch mode, by using a processing platform called MapReduce. Or you can use various other ways to access the data, like, if you want in SQL format, you can use Hive, script language format Pig, and as a matter of fact, you can connect other tools like SAP HANA, other in-memory analytical tools. Directly you can integrate with Hadoop file system to access the data. So at a very high level, if you look at Hadoop components, it has a storage component, Hadoop distributed file system. It has a processing component, which basically in a batch mode MapReduce, and all other tools. If you can consider each box as a separate project. So Pig, Hive, and when you have all these multiple tools, you need a tool which manages all these tools, and that you can call that as a zookeeper, which basically manages all these tools for monitoring purposes. And when you develop a lot of programs, you need to schedule those jobs. There is another tool for the scheduling purposes, which is Uzi. And Hadoop in an enterprise, it's not going to be standalone. It has to work with other traditional relational databases. It has to integrate. So then there are a few other tools that are available for the data integration purposes, and those tools that you can see here on the left hand side, some of the popular tools for working with weblogs, you can use Flume. For working with relational databases, you can use Scoop. Like that, there are a few other tools are available for you for the data integration as well as for governance purposes. So in a nutshell, Hadoop is a data processing platform which has two major components. One is the storage, second one is the processing. To access the data and also for the governance, data integration, operations and scheduling purposes, you have various tools that has been part of this Hadoop. That's the reason people call this as a Hadoop ecosystem, which is not a one project, it's a combination of multiple projects. So by using all these new tools, new projects, we can support the existing enterprise data warehouse to process the data much faster. So this is at a very high level about the Hadoop architecture and how Hadoop supports existing enterprise data warehouse. BI Courses has been providing these training services since 2005. We are one of the major companies that's been exclusively concentrated on business intelligence and big data courses. We offer various courses in business intelligence starting from modern data architecture and various tools that's being used in big data. Either it could be big data Hadoop developer, Hadoop data analyst, any kind of NoSQL databases, and we're also into data sciences and analytics. In addition, we'll be covering a lot of BI tools, including data visualization software like SAP Business Objects, ClickView, MicroStrategy, OBIE, various tools that comes under this category. We'll cover them. Under data integration tools, we provide training or our teaching services in Informatica and related data integration tools. In addition, we do cover Oracle, Unix, all the fundamentals that any entry-level person, even the mid-level person, if he or she wants to get the exposure, get a good understanding, then they need to be very good in this Oracle. That's the reason we add number of tools, at least one tool for every 2 months. So please start looking at our website on a regular basis to get a feel of the courses that we offer. And please contact us at info@bicourses.com for more details. So if you need any information, you can reach us either through email info@bicourses, or please contact us at 610-450-6161 or 610-529-0040. Hope you enjoyed my class. Thank you very much.